conversations. And even as we wait for Dr. Ehud, I'll skip Dr. Ehud and just invite Anne Chebet. Anne Chebet is a young remote work participant, and she'll be telling us more about her journey and how this has worked for her, what solutions she's been giving to businesses, what this means to her livelihood, and we'll be very interested to know how she started this and how she's gone building up her portfolio. So I want to welcome Anne Chebet at this point, and then we'll be able to welcome Dr. Hood after this. So Anne, and if possible, if you can put on your video so that also we can identify you and put the name to the face.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Can you get me clearly? My name is Anne Chebet. I'm a bit program from October last year up to now, and I'm a skilled virtual assistant. I'm a data annotator, and I have I'm with an expertise of accurately labeling data for AI projects. Also, these diverse skills also ensures that I work. So journey has been very
Hi, Anne.
and professionally.
Sorry,
Hi.
Anne. I think you're breaking. I'm not so sure if it's your connection.
Okay. Hi.
Hi, if you can just quickly adjust that, and then we would also want to see your face, if you don't mind.
Okay. Okay.
So maybe as Anne adjusts her network and as we wait for her, we want again to welcome all of you. And we are glad to see some of the chats coming in. I can see some people saying they're also checking whether they can get jobs from these opportunities and tuning in from different places. That's from Nairobi, others from Nakuru. I've seen a lot from Kirinyaga and all that. So meaning that we have different people presented across the different counties within the country. And we are happy to be hosting all of you here. Again, I'll just repeat a few house rules that Titus had mentioned earlier, that if your microphone is on, please, if you can mute it so that you're able to hear the different speakers. Yes. So, Anne, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready. Sorry for that network glitch. Yeah.
Not a problem. Are you able to put on your video?
Yeah, I'm able to. Let me.
Oh.
Can you see me clearly now?
Yes, we can see you and hear you very well. Karibu.
Okay. Yeah, thank you so much. So, as a beneficiary of Ajira Digital Program, currently I'm working for a company called AI Data Workforce. I have a contract for 6 months. And also, I have been working for companies like Avala. I have been working previously as a virtual assistant for 2 clients in Upwork. I've been a call center agent, and also I've worked for CVAT. So online job has helped me grow professionally in such a way that it has expanded collaboration. It has helped me to work with more diverse set of people across the globes with no geographical limitations. And it has also increased my productivity and focus because I can be able to work anywhere, everywhere, and also to have the self-discipline that is required without any monitoring. So online job is very good for my daily activities. Also, has encouraged a culture of self-reliance and responsibility on time management and for project management like Trello, Asana. It has helped me to grow professionally in many ways. Consistency, and also it requires you to be working. I've networked with different professionals from all over the world, and all these thanks to Ajira Digital Program. It has given me a better work, and I can be able to easily integrate my life and to exercise mental health and also physical health. You can arrange your days. And what better way than to say also it has helped me to cater for my housing, like food. Yeah. And it's also a flexible working environment. So I can be able to work anywhere, everywhere, and ability to travel anywhere. And all this thanks to Ajira Digital Program. When I started, I didn't even know how to hold a mouse, but they really helped me in every journey. They really mentored me. And right now, I'm grateful that I'm able to take care of myself and take care of family and everything that is around me. Also, Ajira Digital Program helped me in having it has given me a platform that I can be able to go and develop more skills so that I can get more jobs online. Like it has also, online jobs has also increased my let's say discipline. Online jobs requires clear communication and being proactive. I have gained the skills of being proactive, like over communicating, since you cannot be face to face. So you need to build trust in online job. You need to deliver, give quality work, and anywhere that you don't understand, anything that you don't understand, it's always good to ask. It's always good to over communicate so that you get what is required, since you cannot be face to face with your boss. So you need also to be very proactive and not wait for direction. Just uh, uh, be a person that overly tells him or herself to do something. Also, I've gained adaptability to tools and technology for communication, like Slack, Discord, like email. Yeah, those basic tools. Also, it has helped me to have to establish a routine, to build consistency, and create boundaries, maintain focus, and promote well-being. Like you can divide your day into different time work blocks. In the morning, you can say, let me wake up, work out, and then sit down and start my work at 8 a.m., break for 30 minutes at 10, then return back to my work like that now. So online job has really helped me in many ways. So I can urge young people to just be vigilant. Online job requires patience, a lot of patience and consistency. Don't give up. Learn skills as much as you can, and also be ready to be very comes automatically, and it also increases with time. You cannot say with online job income can this month be this way, next month it increases gradually, and with time you can see you can be able to do a lot of things. So what young people require to online work, number one, it requires a clear onboarding and training. A well-structured onboarding can help young people to have passion for online jobs. Even detailed onboarding materials like clear company culture, values, and expectations Also having a virtual shadowing and mentorship, someone who can mentor you privately and hold your hand and tell you can do this and give you that consistency. Because online job, you can stay alone and then you can give up. But if you have clear mentorship and virtual shadowing, that can help young people to go far. Also, what has helped me is being very curious and in what to learn. If you get this project this time, you learn. Online job requires consistent learning and being able to really have that passion for learning. Also, what young people require is regular check-ins. When introduced to online jobs, you can have regular check-ins, ask how a person is doing, regular ones-on-ones, and then you can ask for feedback. How is this taking you? What do you, how can you do your projects? Have I done it quality? What do I need to improve on? Yeah, that really helps in online. You just cannot do your work and just say, I'm done. You really have to ask for feedback and know if you give quality work, because quality work ensures long contracts, it ensures trust, it gives you more work opportunities. And also, it gives you opportunities for professional. See people asking you, you can come for this course. We are offering you to do a programming course. We can offer you to do email management. It's a constant learning process. Work, it is really beneficiary. I urge all young people to get into online digital program so that it can help them. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you, Anne. Before just you leave, I think you've left
Yeah.
a very juicy part of this narration, but that's quite a very encouraging way and perspective about remote and online work. So
Okay.
is remote work, were you aware about it? Had you tried a physical traditional job before? And how did you end up taking up remote jobs? And then maybe we can tell us, when you say the earnings goes growing gradually, like what figures are we looking at maybe, and where do you foresee yourself going, and what are you aiming at? Yes.
Okay. So I tried physical jobs since I graduated from university in 2016. I tried applying for jobs everywhere. Yeah, with the current situation in our country, lack of jobs. And then I opted for online. I registered for Ajira. Quite like I've stayed in online for like 2 years now. Yeah, so they guided me through that. They helped me to know where I can get sites to get online jobs. They guided me from, so I opted for remote work because now I decided on physical jobs, and I'd worked for one physical job, and it is really, sometimes it's really strenuous. A lot of work, but with online you can the hours that you want with your flexibility, as long as you can, your niche. I am good at project management. Let me do this and do this perfectly. Then it can give you money if you do something perfectly. You get quality work. You be a reliable person. You over communicate, being proactive, and be good at what you do. Online has different things you can do, but when you discover your strength, that is the deal. You can develop skills on that, what you are good at, and then you can get jobs with that. Thanks to Ajira, it helped me, it introduced me to virtual assistant, it introduced me to content writing, and then I developed and so I'm good at virtual assistant. And that is what I went with. And now virtual assistant has many, many, many subs like project management, email management, calendar management. So even you can know what am I good at, like travel management, what tools to use when travel management. Then you can know I'm good at travel management. Let me do travel management. go to Upwork, go to LinkedIn, look for clients, develop a good resume, a bid, a good portfolio, and then you're good to go. It requires only consistency.
Great to hear. Great to
Monthly.
hear.
Yeah.
Yes.
Around there, you cannot, if you are really vigilant, consistent, disciplined, and you are able to manage your time properly, you can get from 80,000 to 100,000 monthly. And that is true. If you're really vigilant and very, very, very consistent and really disciplined, and you deliver quality work, you can get that amount of money from 80,000 to 100. Yeah.
Great, Anne. Thanks for sharing that. And I believe most of the young people here have heard from a fellow young person that you're able to make a living and a good earning within the remote work. And then you've mentioned about discipline. You mentioned about you're your own entrepreneur, so you have to plan yourself even with all the flexibility and the leeway, and then you're able to consistently need mentorship so that you're able to do quality delivery of work. So that was quite profound, and thank you for sharing your story. And I believe we'll be hearing more about you at the panel session. So allow
Yeah.
me to take this
Thank you.
back to our moderator, Titus, and then we are able to proceed. Karibu, Titus.
Thank you, Grace Mary, for that, and for that awesome presentation and sharing of information about what you are doing. So right about now, I would like to invite on this virtual stage our director, Dr. Heud, is the CEO for KEPSA and the director for Youth and Job. So I would like to invite Dr. Heud to the virtual to give the remarks. Daktari, karibu.
Yeah, thank you very much, Titus, and good morning, everyone. Good afternoon and good evening, depending where you're joining from. I want to take this opportunity to once again welcome you to this very important convening this morning that is looking at the potential for remote work as a pathway for creating jobs for young people and giving young people an opportunity to contribute economically. So we are very privileged to have all of you, and we do hope that you will have key takeaways, lessons that you learn, also create connections as a result of this webinar. As I have been introduced, my name is Ehud. I work here at KEPSA. I am the acting Deputy Chief Executive Officer, but also double up as the Director for Youth and Jobs, for which the program, one of the programs that is sponsoring this webinar is the Ajira Digital Program, which is really under my portfolio. And when we sat down as a team and we thought that it's important that we break down and support young people who are looking to pursue opportunities in the remote work. One of the questions that we kept on asking ourselves is that why now and why is this so important? And so, as you are all aware, that globally we are experiencing a very important dichotomy. On one side, we are having significant labor shortage in emerging economies like Kenya and the rest. But on the other side, we are also having global skill shortage. That globally, employers are finding it very difficult to fill in some of the positions that are available. And it's through these sort of opportunities of remote work as a country and as a continent, we can be able to build robust talent and human resource infrastructure that can support global labor shortage that is currently existing. Again, in Africa, Africa is the fastest growing continent with the youngest population by 2050, majority of workforce globally will be coming from Africa. So we are at such a a vintage point that we have to explore very many ways in which we can contribute to our own economic growth as a country, as a continent, but also support global, particularly when we see some of the continents that are experiencing aging population, shrinking markets, disruption of value chains. And I think that we are very well positioned to be able to do that. The second point I wanted to raise is that Kenya is the digital hub for the region. The digital economy is very well advanced in the country with robust skilling, very highly talented and educated workforce, particularly led by young people who constitute almost less than more 75% of the population, meaning that the world is looking at Africa, and when they look at Africa, they have to blink at Kenya. And then this is really one opportunity that we do have. We also have a maturing digital infrastructure. We have now connectivity in terms of fiber, in terms of broadband internet, in terms of even all these other connections that are done by the mobile service providers, that then allows us to be able to discuss how talented Kenyan people can contribute to opportunities that are rising in the global labor market arena, and particularly facilitated by remote work. There's a current research that has been done, and it's showing that globally in developing economies, the most SMEs and businesses are going to be outsourcing close to 70% of their operations to other geographies as a way of de-risking and building their global supply chain. And what that means is that it seems that we are at the very onset of the conversations around outsourcing as well as remote work opportunity, which continues to mature every single day. And in this conversation today, we have a very experienced panel of experts who have been working on a remote work ecosystem, and I'm sure they'll be unpacking what are the threats, what are the opportunities, and how can we prepare ourselves for that. But before we delve into that, allow me to quickly introduce the organization that is organizing this, which is the Kenya Private Sector Alliance. And Kenya Private Sector Alliance is the apex body of our business membership organization in Kenya. And so our work is to bring all the private sector businesses under one roof or under one umbrella, so that we can be able to champion a cohesive and a structured agenda around policies that impact on our country, whether from an economic perspective or social perspective. And with us, we have a membership of well over 2 million directly, but also act as the focal point for the East African Business Council and also host the International Chamber of Commerce. So our lens then is very much global and regional facing, and that is one of the vintage point that the organization stands. And in view of that, we have been working closely with the government to look at programs that could support job creation. And one of the programs that we've partnered with government is the Ajira Digital Project, which is a program under the Ministry of ICT and Digital Economy. And this program seeks to position Kenya as a leading labor choice destination for multinationals, and also local companies. We do that by offering a couple of things. One is support on the digital infrastructure, making sure that the Ajira centers or digital hubs across the country, supplying them and supporting them with devices as well as connectivity, and also human resource. The second thing that we do is to build the skills of young people through specific specialized courses and in terms of for work readiness in various domains. Currently, we have almost 27 courses that we offer, and they range from entry points to intermediate and also advanced. The third thing that we do is to support in the mentorship of young people to be able to appreciate and understand how the digital work ecosystem really works. We've had a lot of successes around the freelancing ecosystem, and we continue to be able to look for new opportunities to even, bring in more advanced as well as intermediate opportunities to our members. And lastly is the work linkage, a role that KEPSA plays. So on one side, the skilling bit is handled by our partner Immobilis, and KEPSA works largely on bringing in cutting edge opportunities around job linkages. And this is the reason why we feel this workshop today is very important, because it's also going to unpack a couple of things that we've been doing. In terms of areas of investment in mobilizing and creating a catalytic job, digital job ecosystem, we work with the freelancing ecosystem, which we've been known for the longest time, supporting access to platform work as well as gig work. We've also been working on the BPO sector, trying to unlock opportunities both for local and international BPOs. We've also been investing heavily on SME outsourcing work. As I had earlier mentioned, as you see a trend coming from developed economy, it is soon going to catch up with us, and we've really been very intentional about supporting our businesses. In any case, 90% of all employment is created in the private sector, so we have to always be looking for ways in which to make the businesses more efficient, but also look at intersections that can also create more jobs. So today we are on the agenda of remote work, and remote work is growing in leaps and bounds. And I think it's the next big volunteer and opportunity that we all have, either to create a new career path, to expand our earning potential and revenue, but also to contribute to the global cause of our labor shortage. And this workshop, therefore, is going to prepare us to be able to exactly deliver that. And we do have a very experienced panel that's going to help us be able to do that. One thing I also wanted to mention is that as we experience more globalization and understand it better, we can no longer afford just to look at our skills from a very localized perspective. Being culturally aware of the global threats, being able to understand how to be a global citizen and respect and appreciate the diversity that's here globally is one skill that we believe puts all of us at an advantage point. So, of course, what our previous speaker was talking about is the consistent upskilling and reskilling, and the need to manage your time. Now in Kenya, it's mid-morning, but there are people globally who are now asleep, and others are experiencing different timelines. How do you then navigate through this complexity of a globe that has no end, So we once again want to welcome you, invite you to this workshop, and wish you the very best. Please feel free to engage, ask questions, and also as well as provide solutions to some of the challenges that you could be experiencing in the economy in our endeavor to scale and bring remote work opportunities to as many young people as possible. I thank you, and I want to put back the mic to our moderator.
Thank you, Daktari, for that opening remarks. Thank you even for the information that we shared, and we are looking forward to an engaging time together with all the participants in this webinar. Right about now, would like to switch gears into a time of panel discussion, and this one will be led by none other than Grace Mary. Grace Mary Mushiri is the project manager, Ajira Digital Program, and Grace Mary, I will task you with introducing the panelists and also leading the panel discussion. Welcome back on stage.
Thank you. Thank you, Titus, for that. And again, once more, good morning. Thank you also, Daktari, for even bringing us to context in terms of the global outlook on remote work, where we currently are, and just a brief on what the businesses may be looking out to benefit, as well as the young people in terms of accessing work opportunities. I'm seeing a lot of young people asking on the chats in terms of where are these links that we can get these jobs. I believe the lined up experts who will be joining us in a few will be giving us some of these channels that we can go, we can definitely access these work opportunities. But mainly also, I want to challenge all of us. I hope all of us are registered and signed in to the Ajira Digital Portal. Our team will be sharing the URL or the website link, which is www.ajiradigital.go.ke. So take advantage. We will also have seen a lot of questions in terms of, do we have a WhatsApp group, or can we create one for a community of remote workers? These are very brilliant ideas and brilliant comments. So we'll definitely work and are planning to do that. But in the meantime, as you join the Ajira Digital, we'll also be opening up a community within the portal for remote work opportunities, and which our team will be sharing now and then on what is coming up. But without further ado, allow me to introduce our great and wonderful panelists who have taken their time. Some as Dr. Ehud mentioned, are on quite different time zones, but they have sacrificed so that they're able to speak to all of us, speak to businesses within this platform, and just highlight and give us different thought leadership and insights that we can carry home. So to start us with, we'll welcome Hilda Kabushenga. Hilda is the CEO of the African Talent Company. So she's an executive with over decades experience in consulting and human capital development across East and Middle Eastern Africa. She's currently the CEO of the African Talent Company, leading the jobs brands in 4 countries, including Joberman, Nigeria, and also, I know most of us have heard about Brighter Monday, Kenya, so she'll be telling us more about that. And until December 2018, she was an engagement manager at McKinsey and Company, serving private and public sector clients, primarily on strategy, human capital, talent management, change management, and organizational behavior. And she's very passionate about human capital and organizational behavior, more so about solving. So you can tell even from her bio that we are expecting a very, very good insights for those asking where do we get those jobs, and even for the businesses asking how do we access these talents. Then also to join us is Ross Stewart. He's the CEO of Global Careers Africa. Ross is a transformative leader with a global vision. I hope the person can mute whoever is. Fozia, you can help us mute whoever is on that here.
You're muted, Grace.
Muted the speaker.
Grace,
Oh, apologies for that. I hope you can all hear me now. Yes, so I was introducing Ross. So Ross is a transformative leader with a global vision focused on addressing complex workforce challenges and driving economic growth with an extensive background in international development and strategic planning, and has dedicated the last 15 years to empowering individuals and organizations across African continent. His work is characterized by a commitment to creating sustainable, inclusive opportunities that foster social stability and economic prosperity. He'll be telling us more on how he's managed to work with different young people within Africa, and whether even in Africa do we have talents and skilled workforce. He's already operating in South Africa, Kenya, Rwanda, and Nigeria, and his unwavering commitment to shaping the future of work has positioned him as a catalyst for positive change on a global scale. Then also we have with us another very young lady called Lorraine Otieno. Lorraine is a career coach at the Beyond the Savannah, and with over a decade of experience in human resources, both globally, remotely, and locally. On site, Lorraine is the founder of Beyond the Savannah and is dedicated to empowering African youth to achieve financial independence by offering tailored services in remote jobs, CV revamping, LinkedIn optimization, and career coaching. They aim to bridge the gap between talent and opportunity in the global workforce. So Lorraine will be telling us what it takes to positioning yourself and also pitching yourself to these work opportunities, and even the preparedness that is required way before. And then Beyond the Savannah's expertise and commitment have made them trusted partners to young people seeking a path to success through remote work. Then we also have Washington Mageto. We also needed to hear from the voice of the business, and he's the CEO, Transnorth Premium Logistics. He's a robust and an independent, yet very collaborative actioneer with an intent to make it better for all around him, including himself. So, and his drive in life is anchored in the belief that he can make a difference no matter how small it can be. I believe we all need such a CEO or such an employer. So, and finally, and not the least, we also have Anne Chebet, whom you heard about her story way before. And she's a skilled virtual assistant with administrative support and data annotation expertise. She's managed to do tasks like scheduling, email handling, and document preparation, while specializing in data labeling for AI and machine learning projects. So she's detail-oriented. I believe if you're in AI and data labeling, you must be very keen to details, organized, and we all heard from her story, committed to enhancing business efficiency through reliable assistance. And her strongest skills are proactive problem solving, detailed research, and effective communication. I know maybe I've not done them justice in introducing all of them, and I will just want to give each one of them around 2 to 3 minutes just to briefly tell them more about themselves and what they'll be speaking about. So I think I'll start with Hilda. Yes, Karib.
Thank you so much, Grace Mary. I hope I'm clear. I have a call today, so hopefully we can get through it. My name is Hilda, as mentioned earlier. I'm the CEO of the African Talent Company. In Kenya specifically, our brand is called Brighter Monday, so hopefully many of you are familiar with it. And I think what I can bring to this conversation pretty much is the role of job boards and recruitment companies in actually bringing remote work opportunities closer to young people, and at the same time helping these young people get better prepared to capture them. You know, what does it take to actually be the one person out of 1,000 or 3,000 that apply for a global job to actually get it? And if you're in Kenya, how can we do that better? I'm very happy to be here.
Thank you so much, Hilda. And I think now we can also hear from Ross.
Hi, and good morning, everybody. So my name is Ross Stewart. I run a program called the Global Careers Africa. We place African talent into the international marketplace. So I'll explain a bit later about how we go about that. But it's about what we've found is that there is an enormous number of jobs internationally that for skilled talent that they cannot find. So the answer to that problem is Africa. It's you. So this panel was really about working out how do we build a bigger ecosystem that can take more people to the international market, but allow you still to work from Africa. You don't have to leave. So this program and these panelists, I think, is part of helping you understand that solution. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you, Ross. And I think it's quite some hope there to hear that we are the solutions to global problems as Africans. So I believe most of the young people here will get a lot of hope from this. And now we can hear also from Lauren.
Yeah, hi everyone. I hope you can hear me clearly. I think much like Rose, what Beyond the Savannah does is connecting African candidates, specifically African candidates, to remote work, right? So my name is Lorraine. I am the founder and career coach over at Beyond the Savannah. Our aim is basically to connect African candidates to remote work. We do have a website on that. We're going to be talking more about that. And I think on this, for the next 1.5 hours, we're going to be talking about specifically, I am going to be talking about what skills you need, positioning, why do you need a LinkedIn profile, how are you going to have a great CV so that you can sell your skills. It's a job market for a reason, so we need to be able to sell our skills and capabilities.
Thank you, Lorraine. It reminds me when I was trying to access work opportunities, if I had this mentorship and an opportunity to revamp my CV, maybe I could have not taken too long to access work opportunities. So I believe that will be key insights. And then we have Washington, who will be speaking mainly from the business perspectives. Washington, if you can introduce yourself.
Thank you so much. And hello, everyone. As mentioned, my name is Washington Mageto, well known for our flagship brand, Pladdle. Pladdle happens to be one of the fastest growing e-commerce marketplace that we have here in Kenya. And what we've done is to connect vendors directly to consumers. And I believe we've worked with most of the MSMEs, as well as some of the teams that I can spot a few people within the participants that we've worked with over the past year or so. Thank you for the invitation to be here.
Thank you, Washington. And we're looking forward to hearing your experiences in terms of what the young people, solutions that the young people have provided. And then we also have Anne Chebet. I'll also give you a minute, Anne, just to, again, remind us of your name and what exactly you do.
Hello, everyone. I'm Anne Chebet. I am a virtual assistant and a data AI annotator. I'm currently working under a 6-month contract for a company called AI Data Workforce. I am privileged to be here, and I'm privileged also to be a beneficiary of Ajira Digital Program and to encourage young people to get into remote work. It's really a good work opportunity and it really pays. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Anne. I think I will start now here and just to also bring us back to the topic of this webinar, which was to unlock the opportunities that are there within remote work, as well as indicate the value that businesses can take advantage of from remote workforce. So, and maybe to start us off, I can start with Ross, and maybe as you can cover in terms of how the thriving in the remote work environment, what's the right skills, what are the right mindset and opportunities, and maybe to be more specific on a question, what are some of the overlooked opportunities within remote work environments that companies can leverage to boost team engagement and performance? Yes, Karibu, Lauren. Sorry, Ross.
Okay, wow, that was a big question. Let me start by explaining what we do and how we go about it. I'll just share a screen if that's okay. So just a quick understanding or overview about what we do. So we connect unemployed skilled talent from Africa with remote work opportunities. Just a bit of context. So by 2030, which is not very far away, there will be 85 million skilled jobs that will be unfilled globally across the world. Within that same time frame, by 2030, and we are only talking 5 years away, we're talking 60 months, that Africa will expand the size of its workforce by more than the rest of the world combined. You'll also be home to more than a quarter of the world's population of under 25s. You'll represent 15% of the world's working age population will live in Africa. That's why we believe the solution to the world's skilled labor problem is Africa. And we've found that that talent pool certainly exists. What we've been building in conjunction with KEPSA and Ajira is this. It looks a lot more daunting than it actually is. So we've been building an ecosystem. It starts at the bottom here. So one of our partners, CareerBox, they've been going for 15 years. They put more than 250,000 people traditionally into the BPO sector, but they've now expanded their product offering. But they specialize in recruitment and work readiness training. So it doesn't matter where your background, your academic background, whether it be tertiary, TVET, secondary, or NEET, if you've not been through that sort of education level, you're welcome to go into CareerBox as part of their recruitment and their work readiness program. We've now plugged into an ecosystem called WorkNation, which does the skills and technical assessment. So to get into our program, you will be assessed on your soft and technical skills, which I'll explain the importance of that in a moment. But WorkNation are a Pan-African platform. So they enable us to have Pan-African benchmarking. So we're testing you against everybody else in Africa, so you know where you sit. It also helps establish career pathways. So there are now 3 different pathways. There's workforce, so you may not have an interest in tech skills. You may be more focused around trade or logistics or building or construction. The BPO sector and the GBS sector, which is really call centers and extended GBS operations, global business services operations, which is a lot more tech related, or the professional market that drops into our space, which is about placing you into the international market in things like digital marketing, software development, business services. All of that then plugs into a relationship that we have with the World Employment Confederation. These guys represent all of the major recruitment companies around the world. So there are more than 100,000 members who are now in the marketplace across the US, Australia, Europe, UK, India, who are now looking for jobs for us. And they already have established relationships with employers. What we need them to do is to actually access those for us. And their platform, a product called Role Relay, actually accesses and plugs directly into the WorkNation. So when we put you and all of your results up in the WorkNation platform, it now integrates with the international market for you. So the market can now start looking at what you're doing. Once you've got a job, we place you into the international market, then Global Careers Africa then looks after the relationship going forward. And that's about providing career coaches for you, mentors, subject matter experts. It helps manage the lifelong learning platform that sits inside WorkNation, and we manage the employer network. So the relationship between the employers around the world and you, we manage that relationship to make sure that it's consistent, everybody understands what's required. Our career coaches are on site throughout your employment to make sure that if you have a problem, you can go back to them and talk them through it. You've got mentors from me on the international side, giving you a cultural perspective. And if but and when you need to access subject matter experts, you can. So the way that platform works, when we recruit on 2 axes, we recruit on competency, of course, which is sort of expected, but we also recruit on warmth. And warmth for us is relationship, EQ. The best for us at top end is what we call high competency and high warmth. They're the ideal candidate. These people possess good interpersonal skills. And when you're dealing remotely, we find that to be a really important part of the puzzle. These people we call rock stars. At the other end of the scale, we've got low competency, low warmth. So people we call lost puppies. They're basically in this market. They need more work, more support. The mid-range for us is high competency and low warmth. So people that are good, but they're grumpy. It's about trying to find people that will engage with you. They're technically proficient, but that soft skill becomes a really important part of your success in the long term. And the mid-ground for us is low competency, but high warmth. That's okay. We prefer to have that. If you've got a high warmth engagement level, that you're enthusiastic, you're friendly, you can learn skills. So we're happy to teach that through. When you get into our program, most of our time, we assume that you've got good technical skills or that your employer will bring that up for you. What we're interested in is your employability and enterprise skills. So we spend a lot of time with you in the beginning, giving you intercompany communication skills, personal branding, helping you get ready for personal interviews, technical interviews, helping get your mindset right. We then move into personal development, being your foundations. Where do you want to go? What do you want to do? Helping understand your future and the career pathways that you're looking for. Financial literacy is an important part of this puzzle. We want to make sure you understand how to build wealth rather than just earn an income. And then we get into employability skills. What are the things that you're going to need to work internationally? These are important because you're not working in an office environment. You're working in a remote environment. And therefore, a lot of these things you would pick up whilst you're working if you went to go and work for somebody in a physical environment. But because you're working remotely, we build these programs in as part of your role, as part of our training programs through career coaches, to make sure you gain these skills. We also have you working in a collaborative workspace. So you're working with an alumni, with other people just like you. And so you've got someone to work with to gain these skills. Once we get through this, there are ongoing masterclasses. Again, not specifically driven around skills assessment. We assume that you'll get that through your employer or that you've already got them, and you'll gain those that will increase progressively. What we're giving you are things like how to hold meaningful conversations, how to build relationships, how to manage conflict, things that help, particularly in the international market. You then wrap with career coaches and mentors, which I've talked about. This international sales network is the relationship we have with the World Employment Confederation. So basically the Work Nation platform plugs into over 100,000 people across the world looking for jobs for you. So it's not only about getting your first job, it's also worrying about and thinking about where your career path goes. The sort of career specializations that we deal with, we started with IT, so software developers, data scientists were really obvious, and they came out of the COVID shortage, that the digital economy went nuts and they all started looking for these roles. Business and finance has been a growth sector for us, business development, accountants and financial analysts. Creative industries, we have graphic designers, digital marketers, content creators across Africa now. The biggest health growth for us at the moment is healthcare and life sciences, and there's a collection of other roles. What we do know is that 57% of all jobs across the USA right now can be done remotely. And I think, as Dr. Ehud said, the direction of this is heading towards 70% of jobs internationally are capable of being able to done remotely. So the answer to those, given they can't find that skills in the US, in Australia, in their own markets, is that they need to look for a new labour pool, and that labour pool is you. The co-working facilities are a really important part of the puzzle, and this is going towards answering your question, Grace-Mary, about what's important to us. We partnered with a group called Grit, who are an impact real estate developer. They're also here in Kenya. They've built the new Tartu facility in facility in Tartu that we have our campus in. And this was important to us in getting an international work environment that enabled you to be able to work with other people like you. And it needs to be collaborative as a workspace. So these campuses are being built across Africa in 11 different countries. And it's about giving you a workspace that you want to be at, and that you can collaborate with other people to help solve problems and discussions as you're going through. We believe this is really important in terms of how do we get that kind of relationship, and that you have the support that you need around you. And I think, going to your question around how do we address performance? How do companies boost team engagement performance? The biggest opportunity we found is what we call community collisions, basically networking, about how do we create an environment that you all want to be in, that you like the people that you're with, they've got similar problems as you, so it doesn't make you, that you have shared that we give you a structured environment to work from. But part of our model is you work from these facilities. They're co-working spaces that we're building across Africa. The intention is that when you come to work, you work. When you go home, you stop. We don't want a situation where you're working extended hours into all sorts of your own time. We want you to have somewhere to go and work, somewhere to go and play, somewhere to spend time with your family, and then come back next morning, you're refreshed, you start again. That's how we get better performance out of these environments than the traditional work from home model, which we've tried. Even the work from anywhere models. Work from anywhere was actually okay, but still led to people working from home on their own. What we felt worked better was if we had a collaborative workspace, co-working facilities, everything that you need is on site. So it comes with IT support, HR support, but it also comes with 24-hour restaurants. There are doctors, there are nurses, there are chemists, pharmacies. Everything is actually on play and available for you. So all of those things were to stop you maintain your focus and make sure you weren't drawn off with other issues that came your way. Sorry, that was a very long answer for a short question, but that's the approach that we adopt. I hope that helped.
Okay, I think that quite helps, Ross. It's painted a very good picture in terms of what kind of employers we're looking at globally and how this is linked all the way from recruitment to the work readiness to work opportunities. And then you mentioned about the team engagement being the mentorship, the opportunities for mentorship, and even taking advantage of such facilities like the Tattoo City and such BPOs to and co-shared workspaces for mentorship and building those teams for better delivery. Thank you for that, Ross. And maybe at this point, I will ask now Hilda in terms of in what skills is Kenya thriving in that is marketable. I know we've seen the global perspective, and maybe Ross has thrown a few tips on different skills that the global sphere is looking out for, but we also have representation of local businesses in this webinar. And I will just want to know, what are these marketable skills we have in Kenya that can be both adopted by local businesses and global businesses?
Thank you so much, Grace Mary. I would say, people always say digital skills are pretty much like a pyramid, right? In the sense that you can start from anywhere. And I think Anne actually demonstrated that really well early on when just talking. You can start from literally not knowing how to use a mouse and climb your way up the pyramid until you are a very sophisticated developer, right? And when you look at Kenya, I'd say the few advantages the country has. First of all, compared to other African countries, it is a lot more digitally advanced, right? In the sense that there's access to data, there's access to cell phones, there is, relatively good connectivity, especially around urban areas. And so you find that especially global businesses will look for different pockets of talent from Kenya across the whole pyramid. So if we start from the base of the pyramid, the really, really entry-level skills, things you're going to learn, like, copywriting, for example, you're going to learn how to be a writer, you're going to be a virtual assistant. There are things that you can learn from Udemy or from a free course or from YouTube and just start practicing. I guess the trick is that initially you feel a bit discouraged because it doesn't seem like you are getting the gigs you want to get. You're putting yourself out there, not getting anything. But that's why it's a pyramid, right? And it's much, much harder at the bottom. So if you can push those initial foundational skills and try to keep looking for experience, even though maybe the rates you get are not the highest out there or you're not getting work as often, but it's about just like building that portfolio and gaining practice, right? And I think a lot of people on Upwork, on freelancer.com, on, we work remotely, actually are looking for Kenyan talent to do that. Even I've looked for gig workers from Kenya in based on Upwork for very simple things, all from business writing to, research. After that basic pillar, I'd say the intermediate one is actually where most people begin to realize, oh, I can actually create a long-term career out of my digital skills. Because all of a sudden, and they're a bit more sophisticated, so about me like advanced graphic design, for example, or even like web design or like an entry-level software design as well. When you get to that place, you realize, okay, this is a lot more marketable. I'm getting a good hourly rate to do it. But also more importantly, there's a wide scope for me to keep on exploring, right? And I'd say that's the second tier. In Kenya still, I'd say probably the bulk of the roles, at least I'm seeing us get, are this middle tier, because we don't always have the expertise needed for the very, very high-end jobs. And some people do progress from the baseline, right? So I'd say, especially on the Brighter Monday platform, that's what we kind of focus on. And there are two types of opportunities. So for many young people, you might actually realize this, that when you go to a job board, you're going to find two types of listings of that job board. There's some that are organic in the sense that, Brighter Monday, for example, will have spoken to employers or to another job board and said, guys, we are, can we actually have an agreement, a handshake agreement? We're bringing all these jobs to our platform for our target demographic. And the listings are pretty much organic, right? So you'll find that it could be one employer hiring 10 people, hiring 100 people, but whatever happens, everything happens within the Bright Monday ecosystem or within that job board ecosystem. And you can kind of trust that when you see that job, it's a listing that if you apply to, at least it's going to get to your employer, and that's good. The other thing that job boards do, and it's still important but not as direct, is aggregation, right? So you find that for very many job boards, on top of the organic listing will have, and some platforms are only aggregators, by the way, which can be a bit confusing. But on top of the organic listings, it's possible, and Brighter Monday does this, to aggregate remote listings from other platforms across the world, right? Which could either be in line with the skills we see our database has the most of, or where we see lots of demand. But when listings are aggregated, and it can get a bit confusing for a young person trying to apply for a job, it means when you apply to that job, it's not going to happen in the native platform where you found it, right? You'll be redirected to a different source where you apply from. And that is maybe I'd say a step removed from close to you getting an opportunity for yourself, because then there's a lot more people across the world that have applied to that job. You do not necessarily have a direct relationship with the employer. Yes, it'll help you get practice, and yes, you can get those jobs, but just always make sure you are very clear between an organic job that you're taking your application straight to the employer and an aggregated job. I think both are necessary either way. At least we know that first, the most important thing is to get visibility. So if you're getting visibility for more opportunities, you're able to understand, okay, am I on the right track with my skills to start with? Do I need to change, or do I need to upskill a little bit more? You get to practice your interviews, you get to practice your applications. So all those things are really important and help you get ready for when an organic job finally comes along. But I would say if you're talking about the kind of skills that are needed, definitely everything across the pyramid, especially in Kenya, is very, very popular, and those roles keep coming in. And if you're the base of the pyramid, don't lose hope. Just know that as you build your portfolio, as your skill set gets sharper and sharper, you'll move closer to the top, your earnings will stabilize, they'll actually get higher. You might even end up hiring people to support you, but it's always a pyramid, and you have to be patient enough to climb up.
Quite interesting, Hilda, and it's I like the way you've said that the bottom of the pyramid is where everyone is and most people are, and it's up to us as young people to push ourselves upward so that we are at intermediate or even advanced skills and be able to access better and more paying jobs. So it also speaks in terms of not losing hope, well, at the very bottom of the pyramid, but looking at ways to keep on improving yourself. So that was quite insightful. But I'll maybe still ask you at this juncture, because you've painted in terms of what already we have in Kenya, but where do we have the gaps in terms of skill supply, and what steps can stakeholders take to close these gaps? Yeah.
Thank you. I'd say, first of all, definitely, as I mentioned, we've got lots of the foundation and intermediate. We need to get a lot more of the highly skilled work, right? That's just a fact. The second thing, I see a gap that people actually don't really notice, but we see a lot of the fact that if you think about the global labor gap, right? A lot of the countries that need talent, even from our continent, are not necessarily English speaking. So I find there's a huge opportunity, for example, a German speaking software developer, where somebody in Kenya would be perfect for that job technically, but language is actually a gap, a skills gap. And it's a much larger skills gap than you think. I think for somebody who's thinking about, let me start a school that teaches French, that teaches German, that teaches whatever it is, there's a massive opportunity to be captured there. Because if you think about what remote work would look like at scale, right? A bakery, a small bakery in a small town in Germany needs help designing a website, right? That person may not necessarily speak English. The job will be available to do. The person who will get it is a person who has both the technical skill and the language added upon it. So I'd say that. The third thing that I know we're getting better at, but can still improve, is everything changing with AI. And I can imagine that is still very volatile because it's literally being born every day as we speak, right? So you find that, and I've spoken to Grace about this before, there are languages, there are aspects we're getting very, very powerful and strong at, but there's still major gaps. And then there are places where, just by virtue of the industry, maybe it's not that developed, there's work to do. I would say cybersecurity is a big one. It's a really, really big one. And you find lots of people looking for experienced people, highly qualified people in that space as well. We'll get there.
Thank you for painting that picture to us. I think at this point, I want us to a little bit change gears and now hear first from the industry. And I'll be speaking to Washington on this just to hear the benefits, the risks, and measures that businesses face from remote workforce. So maybe we can first start by telling us what are the key competitive advantages that you have realized from your own business and from experience that remote work models offer to businesses, and how can businesses capitalize on these advantages? Yeah.
Thank you so much. I hope we are able to hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
Very well, very well. So I think some of the key things, and COVID somehow brought out this particular aspect vividly in ways that business can be able to tap into remote jobs. I think most companies within Nairobi were able to embrace different tech. One, it was able to at least help in expanding the reach, as well as accessing diversified talent, which I think most of the speakers have spoken about. We no longer rely on homegrown talent per se. We can rely on talent from any given place. And the reason as to why most business do that, and I'm speaking from the point of a business person, if I was speaking from the point of government, we'd try and speak about creating local jobs and the likes. But when it comes to speaking about business, we tend to think about measures like cost cutting. Are we able to get affordable labor at an affordable price? Are we able to have flexible employment arrangements? And I think those are the things that most employers look at. If we are able to achieve some of these things, then we can be able to at least secure the bottom line. There are areas that we differently looked at, and I think the opportunities that were presented by this was to be able to actually match the different talents that would be able to work. And of course, there's the technology that supports, all this. So some of the things that benefits employers would be that.
Okay, I think that was very straightforward. And for businesses, I believe that you only want to hit those margins. And so, as you've indicated, you're looking for the lowest cost possible so that you cut on costs, which makes sense. And I know Anne at the very beginning indicated on some of the expected ways they receive from remote work. And maybe at this point, I would also just want to hear from Anne in terms of even what Washington has mentioned. What are your experience and tips for winning over a client? You've mentioned you've had a client, I think, for over 6 months or something, and keeping these clients. So what are among of those tips that even if they're not willing to pay as much, they don't want also to lose you? So maybe we can give us that experience and how you've managed to survive in that, and maybe even unexpected opportunities that remote work has opened up for you, both personally and professionally.
Okay, thank you so much, Mary. In order to keep a client, you need to really be reliable and communicate. Be ready to over-communicate in case of anything. In case of anything, be very proactive. Don't wait to be told, do this or do that. Be proactive in whatever you're doing. Also, be very reliable. In case of anything, any glitch you are experiencing, network, communicate on time so that the client can be able to tell when you are able to deliver the work or not. Also, ensure quality. Quality is very, very, very important. you ensure you have a very high quality, and have a very high quality requires really efficient training. And if you're not able to understand something, it's good to ask and ask and ask. The secret to online job, in order to build trust with your client, it's very important to over-communicate. Over-communication is very, very, very important. Also, another thing, for your co-workers and to meet up and discuss various things that you are able to do professionally, and to really be able to tell them when you are there, when you're not around. That also builds a lot of trust. And you really need to also be reliable in case you don't have network, make sure you have backup. In case you don't have power, make sure you have backup also. Those are the tips for online, for gaining trust in online clients and being able to work with them professionally. Also, for me professionally, online job has expanded collaboration in many ways, that I'm able to work with a diverse set of people across the globes, and I'm able to work at any time zone. It does not have any geographical limitations. Also, it has increased my focus and productivity, because I can be able to make time blocks. I can say maybe I wake up at 5:30, I can work out, and then I can, from 8 a.m. I can sit down and focus on my work, take breaks, focus on my work, and that has helped me to increase my productivity and also to increase my quality. Also, it has brought me a culture of professional development. With online, you learn always. There are different projects that requires you to use different tools, that needs you to be really curious. You stay curious and be a tech savvy. You really need to learn these things and be ready to learn always. Whenever you have an issue, it's always good to ask and communicate. Also, it has helped me to connect with the young professionals everywhere in the world, like Philippines, Nepal. It has helped me to work with people from different geographical locations and to learn more. Personally, it can life, and also it has helped me reduce stress and have good mental health, because I can be able to control whatever I do, wherever I do, and that is really a good thing, to have freedom, to have mental freedom, and to know how to work here. It also has given me an ability to travel anywhere. I can just travel with my laptop, work in a cafe, work everywhere and anywhere. It has given me a location independence. Also, it has given me time for personal projects. I can be able to take online courses, like Hilda said, you take these programming courses whenever you're not at work. You can take. It also needs only consistency. It also needs patience, and it also needs you to be very curious, and you'll be ready to learn anything and everywhere. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you, Anne. I think most of us have heard, and even just Anne is showing us the kind of discipline that this calls, as much as there's flexibility, but again, also the exposure that she's had to experience from this remote work. But maybe some of us are asking, and maybe even my question on my mind is, did it just happen that you got all these soft skills and you're able to manage yourself, or how did you acquire these kind of skills, and how have you been refining them over time?
And no, it didn't just happen. It really requires self-discipline, a lot of self-discipline and willingness to learn. Yeah, it takes time. It has taken a lot of time and patience. And with online, you can today, if you will be consistent, the way you are today and the way you will be tomorrow, you will not be the same person. You will have upskilled and build you'll have built your skills. Like the way Hilda said, some of us give up at the pyramid down here, but it really needs consistency. Every day learn and learn those project management tools, those virtual assistant tools. Be ready to learn, find your niche, what you love doing, and then do that to your best. You'll give good quality and you'll never lose a client. Client really loves people who are reliable, people who are communicative, people who are proactive, and people who really love what they are doing. And then income will automatically follow you. Yeah.
Wow, quite profound and quite elaborate. But I also want to hear now at this juncture from a career coach in terms from now, Lorraine, in terms of how do you build, for instance, if I'm not like Anne, who can be very self motivated and kujituma, as we call it in Kenya. So how can such career coaching opportunities help me, and how can individuals build and continuously improve these skills to stand out in such a competitive remote work environment?
Yeah, just to echo what Anna said, I think she has elaborated and stressed on the point that you need to over communicate, which is something that we struggle with as Africans, right? Just how we've been socialized. But aside from the soft skills that we obviously need to have, I think it's also important for everyone to kind of understand what are some of the technical skills based off of your function. Then go ahead and research and just upskill, right? So let's say a customer service professional, regardless of whether they are in the blockchain ecosystem, they are in FMCG, they're in manufacturing, a customer service professional is always going to be a customer service professional. They're going to be dealing with training, onboarding, retention, renewals. You need to understand the KPIs. So kind of have a look at the job adverts and try and identify what are the keywords, right, that are coming up in each and every job advert. And then if you don't have that skill, if you're struggling with understanding, or even if you haven't interacted with softwares like Slack or Trello, which is a project management tool, or even Zoom or Loom, then go ahead and watch tutorials on YouTube. Get yourself acquainted with them. That is going to be one of the ways in which you're going to be positioning yourself better for these global roles. Remember, your competition is global. If it's difficult enough finding a job in Kenya, now imagine, put it into perspective globally, right? So it's all about selling your skills, selling your capabilities. And as Hilda said, yes, we might all start at the bottom, but it is important for us to continuously upskill. Most of these remote companies are going to be startups, and the only constant that is in a startup environment is change. So you need to be an agile thinker. Have that learning mindset and be curious, get to understand what is the in thing. Right now in HR, it is DEI in coaching. In data, it is AI, right? So has every one of us here, have we actually registered to an AI Essentials course? If not, then what are we doing as job seekers?
Okay, that's quite interesting, Lorraine, and especially I like what you mentioned in terms of being an agile thinker. And I want to keep on encouraging more young people. Keep on the questions coming so that you're able to see. I've seen most of you asking about Ross' presentation. We'll definitely be sharing this. We got your contacts when you're registering, so we'll be able to share this as well as the recording of this webinar. So not to worry, you can always refer to it. But I'll still back to you, Lorraine, and ask, why is a professional online presence critical for a remote job seeker? As a career coach, you can guide us on that.
Okay, I've got a question to the participants, right? Give me a thumbs up. How many of us have a LinkedIn profile? Thumbs up for yes, thumbs down for no. How many of us have a LinkedIn profile? And if you do have a LinkedIn profile, is it optimized? Right? The reason as to why everyone needs to have a LinkedIn profile, and I always say, whether you're a student, whether you are a seasoned professional, or just trying to get into the job market, everyone, or an entrepreneur, everyone needs a LinkedIn profile. It is the globally acceptable social media platform for professionals. Everyone on there is there to network, to look for opportunities for professional growth. The thing that most people tend to underestimate is that, like I said, it's like any other social media platform. So you need to be active so that the algorithm can actually love you. And one of the reasons as to why I particularly love LinkedIn is because, one, it enhances your visibility. When you don't have a LinkedIn profile, you lose out on being headhunted. You lose out on the job opportunities that you might be able to get, right? The second thing is that it helps with personal branding. And I think Rose also talked about that. Personal branding and how you're going to be positioning yourself is super important. So at the end of the day, it is called a job market for a reason. We all come here to sell our capabilities and skills. I might have the right skills for the job. I might be the right person in terms of culture fit. But if I'm not able to sell my skills, I eventually lose out, right? And then because, a CV, particularly an ATS CV, is kind of direct, it is simple. On a LinkedIn profile, when you have an online presence, then you're able to add like your portfolio, you're able to show your personality a little bit, you show your achievements, your endorsements. So the recruiter or the company that is hiring you gets to see what else is there to Lorraine other than just being a HR professional and a career coach. What else are we getting from this individual? And how well are they able to kind of gel into our company culture, which is super important.
Interesting. So we all have to sell our brand out there because we are entrepreneurs by the virtual that we are participating in remote work. And so then there is a need to really build our portfolios online. So maybe I take us back now to the industry, and Washington, maybe you can tell us now, having seen what we have available, having seen we have very talented young people like Anne here representing most young people, what are the risks that businesses face in engaging remote workers, and what are some of the best practices to mitigate these risks and drive in this kind of strategy as a business?
Now, when it comes to risks that we engage, I think let me speak from the point where, from a point of an e-commerce platform, and then just speak of a few things that we've done in terms of remote work. And then I can now topple up with the risks that underlie within those segments. And then from that particular area, we can be able to now generalize the different risks that would be there. So what we've done, we were able to allow people to be able to actually do marketing on our behalf. That is contracted marketing as well as freelance marketing. We were able to give access to some of our social media accounts. So most of our social media accounts are managed remotely. We also do software development remotely. For the past 4 years, we've worked with a gentleman in India the whole period of time. We've handled the bit of SEOs, we've handled the bits of graphics and the likes, but most importantly, we've handled the aspect of they call what operations management on the e-commerce segment. That is, those are the people who are editing the different products that our vendors do have on the platform. The people who are able to see what the vendors are dealing with and the likes. And therein, when you give such kind of access, to remote personnel, then that means the whole IP is needs to have a lockdown around it, and that means you need to have a worldwide mechanism in ways that you can be able to protect yourself. And for people who've done software development, there are different areas where or rather different organizations that you can use. Either you can use local KIPI, or you can use Africa, ARIPO, or you can use international WIPO in regards to protecting your intellectual property. We have local laws that protect from privacy. Now you see, when you're dealing with remote work, you're unable to enforce such kind of laws on someone, say, in Uganda or Tanzania, who does not operate with the Kenyan, under the Kenyan jurisdiction. So it's a bit of a challenge when it comes to privacy and the likes. There's an aspect of technological access. There's the isolation of the employees and the likes. So if you're dealing with someone in Uganda, you might not be able to directly monitor the different things that they need to do, especially for those high-risk jobs that require day-to-day monitoring and the likes. So I know different avenues can be employed, from quality assurance to strict HR policies to etc. But still, they might not really suffice. And if they do, they would be very costly for small businesses to be able to sustain that kind of operation. All in all, the good outweighs the bad, and I think that's a one place where I need to emphasize on. Despite the privacy issues, the security issues, the different things that would beleaguer us, the good that remote job gives in terms of business expansion, business growth, reductions of cost, etc., they outweigh the dangers or the bad that would pose. Thank you.
Thank you, Washington. I think also the way you're putting it is in terms of as much as you can't avoid all the risk and mitigate all this, you still look at, are you gaining more in terms of, are you benefiting more as a business, and also just explore further on what policies are there that can also help you guard your business. But maybe even just to hear from Ross, because now he interacts both with employers and employees. And maybe you can tell us, Ross, from the programs that you've been running, how do you facilitate the success of these remote work opportunities, and when not overlooking such risks for businesses? Yeah.
Thanks, Rosemary. I think one of the big issues, and I can't emphasize how important what Lorraine had to say in terms of the way you present for the international market. So your LinkedIn profile, your personal brand. We deal with the international market, we deal with a lot of conscious and unconscious bias about Africa. We need to get them to understand how good you actually are. We do that through video presentation. So part of your personal brand about putting you to market, and I'll just show you a quick video if I can, Rosemary, just to explain the difference of what we see. So the first video is, hang on, I need to be able to share it. The first video is week 7 of our program. Sorry, day 7 of our program. What we ask all of the participants is to start working on your personal story, on how you're actually going to present it. So this is the beginning of the program. I'll then show you basically before and after shots. So then at week 6 of our program, when we've worked with branding, we've got people more confident and giving them, you need to believe that you belong in this role. So the difference between these two videos, it's the same person, but it's quite significant. Let me just show you what this looks like.
Hello, my name is Loden Jonas, and I studied a bachelor's degree in commerce at the University of Cape Town within the fields of finance, marketing, and economics. In addition to that, I studied copywriting with the American Writers and Artists Institute, and I studied email marketing from the Clavio Academy.
That's where we started. By the time we've gone through the program and worked on the personal branding, this is what it...
Hi there, I'm Loden Jonas, and I'm not your average digital marketer. 3 words people consistently describe me by are prudent, and this is probably because I tend to make good decisions. They also call me industrious, and they call me an excellent communicator. Why is this? This is because I don't just speak well. I'm able to place myself in the shoes of others, listening to them attentively. I don't just work for the sake of getting busy. I am results driven. I am a value hacking machine. I'm looking to partner with a business that craves excellence. Why is this? Because I want to be challenged. I want to grow further. And if you can provide me with such an environment, I will make your marketing campaigns grow wings.
The point of that goes back to both Hilda and Lane's point about personal branding and about putting yourself out there. And certainly on Anne's point about how do you find a point of difference between you and everybody else that's looking for a role. Whenever we put an ad in LinkedIn, we get about 4,500 applications each time. And we do that for a cohort of between 60 and 80 people. So you're competing with a lot of other talented youth just like you. The difference comes down to that element of warmth, about that the how you engage, how you connect, how you communicate. So you need to spend time practicing and rehearsing that. Stand in front of the mirror. You'll feel like an idiot. Doesn't matter. It's all about getting your personal brand right. And then rehearsing a story. And the thing that was about Loden's video we just saw was he was explaining what value he was going to add. So it wasn't about please hire me. It was about this is what I can do for you. These are the skills I have. And that was a cut down video. The video runs for normally about 2 minutes. But we have professional videography teams that actually help present to make sure that if you're competing with the international market and if someone has a hiring manager has someone sitting across the desk from them, I need to make sure you're presented in the same way. So a lot of this is around personal brand. And those are not just it's not just your video, it's about your LinkedIn profile, it's about your social media profile. Think about what's on it, because the market will look up your social media program to get a better sense of who you are. So think seriously about what you post, what you record, what you want how you want the market to see you as part of this process. Because ultimately that's what people are hiring. The skill set will get to skills. You have to have a certain level of skills, absolutely. But the expectation is you'll gain skills as you go along. What they're really hiring is you. They need personality. So you need to be comfortable about being able to put yourself out there about who you really are. Not someone you're not, but someone who you really are, and allow people to understand the warmth and the generosity and the engagement that comes with you. And that's exactly what you're seeing in Anne. Every time she speaks, there's that level of engagement that you go, yep, I'd hire her in a minute. It's the same as this. So this Loden, he was hired 30 minutes after his first interview. He was picked up by Ben Sherman, which is a British international fashion brand. And as a result of him, we've now got 5 people working for Ben Sherman on their digital marketing team. That's the sort of level that we need from you to be able to get into the program, but not only our program, it's to be able to get yourself into the international market, bless you, and differentiate between the two spaces.
Thank you, Ross, for that. And I think at this point, I want first to even thank our audience for being very patient at this point. And I know we need to be winding up. And I'll just delve quickly to the questions that have been going on through the chats. I think I'll start with some questions to Hilda, and maybe you can tell us I know 2 people have asked about if they can be sensitized on the taxes that applies to remote jobs to avoid getting into trouble with KRA, and so that they are compliant, and any other legal implications that they need to be aware of as they prepare that. And maybe also a question that you will answer is in terms of there's some questions on Brighter Monday in terms of what some are asked or are informed on work opportunities through SMS instead of emails. Is that official? Maybe you can highlight to us the official communication from Brighter Monday. And then maybe Ross, you can highlight to us in terms of, there are a lot of questions on Work Nation and how to sign up for that. There are some pop-ups that are coming that they require NIN, and they're asking what is exactly that. If maybe you can advise us on that. And then maybe I can just also highlight on a question from Amos in terms of certificates from Ajira Digital. Maybe to just also clarify that Ajira Digital skilling is not training, like a training in a school, the way you get to a school and get a course out of it, but it's more of market facing and work readiness. So we help you prepare better for work opportunities, but definitely their certificates. We work from the skilling aspect. We have a partner called Immobilis. So if you have any inquiries, please write to us at ajira@kepsa, the email that had been shared, ajira@kepsa.or.ke, and we'll be able to forward this request to our other partners. Also, there is, please share from Jenga, please share the websites where we can access these online jobs. As I had indicated, keep posted, and please ensure you've registered through Ajira Digital Portal, where we post most of these opportunities. But the beauty about it is that while you've already registered for this session, and for the young people that because you clicked as a youth on that opportunity and a job seeking, we'll be able to be sharing the opportunities as they come. As you see, we have been accessing different work opportunities through our partners. That's why Ross and Hilda are here, and we'll be able to be communicating of such opportunities. Yeah, and then there's Nelson, who's also asking still a question on tax. I think, Hilda, you highlight that. I'm trying to see if there's also a question on how to sign up on Udemy courses. I think, Hilda, you can also answer on that. And then to Annie, how long did it take you to start working and getting clients, and what are the challenges you faced or still encountering in this journey, and how do you deal with them? I think you've been an inspiration to many, and they are asking for an advice on how they can be able to, how long can they be patient? Because I know you indicated they need a lot of patience to go about it. I think I've covered everyone, and unless there's more question, please indicate it on the, or there's a question to Lorraine. Mine is just to understand how to build an effective portfolio. I know you'll be leaving your link, but you can also maybe indicate it in a comment on how they can access you for such opportunities. And then another question to Anne. I have been applying for these remote jobs for a while, but have not been lucky to get one so far. So I think that ties into the first question on how long it takes for you to start working. So yes, so I think we can answer those questions. And because of time, if we can also give a parting shot as you respond to the questions, and we can start with Hilda, then Ross, then Lorraine, and finally Anne.
Thank you. I hope I'll be able to remember everything. I'll start with the Brighter Monday one. So yes, all companies on the Brighter Monday platform are verified, right? At the end of the day, if they're reaching out to you by SMS, it means they liked your application and the employer is reaching out directly. It's not Brighter Monday staff because it's a marketplace, right? So lots of employers will come and post their listing independently. You will apply independently. But if the listing has been approved, then you can be at least 100% assured that we know who the company is. We verified them. They're real, they're authentic, and the job is real. We don't let the jobs go up if they're not. So at least you can have that level of confidence. If they're asking for money, then obviously not. We don't ask job seekers for any sort of money. It should be free to apply, and you can follow the process directly. That's that. On the taxes piece, I think a lot of companies, including I think Ross mentioned it, same as Brighter Monday, same as other platforms as well, will actually help you with this. If you get a job through them or a gig through them, they'll take care of the statutory work, right? But if they don't, or if you don't get a role that way, then effectively you're an independent contractor, and you'd have to look into a number of things, including, what's the taxable threshold based off your earnings? And then do you actually have to get withholding tax, or will your employer withhold some tax from you? And every year you're responsible for filing your own tax returns, right? There's lots of information about this online, even from KRA itself, to kind of make it easier. So the step-by-step approach, there might be some blog posts about it. Or if maybe it's something, if there's no clear information, maybe that's something that KEPSA and Brighton Monday and other people can take on and create a guide for being an independent contractor in the digital world. Yeah, there's opportunities there. Thank you. Is there any other question for me?
Yeah, I think you've covered everything. Thank you, Hilda.
Yeah.
And maybe we can now move to Ross.
If I remember the question, it was about the NIN number that was popping up on Work Nation. I've just put an answer actually in the chat, but the NIN number is a Nigerian national identification number. So the Work Nation platform was originally built in Nigeria. We're just bringing it to Kenya now. So the intention is to be able to plug that into the Ajira platform, and that'll give you direct access into the Work Nation. So that should be up and running within the next week or so.
Okay, thank you. Lorraine?
Yeah,
No.
so who needs a portfolio? If you are a project manager, data analyst, virtual assistant, you all need portfolios. If you need help with that, visit any of our socials that is beyond the savannah. We are on X, Facebook, even on Facebook, on Instagram and TikTok. We also have a website, beyondthesavannah.co.ke. We do help with that. And just to mention something, I know Anne said that you can earn up to 80,000 Kenya shillings. Whilst I was working remotely, because I have worked remotely, I was earning upwards of $3,000, and that is per month, right? So to answer the question, the person said, how long do you need to wait, and how patient can you be? You really, really need to be patient. Currently, the global lead time is between 6 to 12 months for you to land a full-time remote opportunity. So go in with that and just be patient, send in your applications, and hope for the best.
Wow, nice. Thanks, Lorraine. And Annie?
Yes, about how long did it take? It really needs, like how Lorraine has mentioned, it really needs a lot of patience and consistency. You register with Ajira, learn the basics, and then from there on, advance little by little with giving yourself hope and have something called grit. You all do things, tell your mind you can do it. Don't give up, and be consistent. Be patient, time until you reach where you want to be. Yeah.
Thank you, Anne. Washington, a parting shot.
Thank you. Thank you. My apologies. All systems went dark. Challenges of being in Africa, living in Africa. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much for the opportunity you've given us to be able to share here. I've learned quite a lot from industry leaders here. And it is a privilege to have been part of the panel with them. I think in the near future, I should be able to work together at some point, because we continuously grow, we continuously would want to hire better talents and the likes. I do not know whether I'm supposed to speak about my business as a marketer, but you'd allow me. Sorry about that. You'd also allow me to speak about that. There are different opportunities on our recent pen down with KEPSA, with the opportunity to place at least 300 resellers on our platforms. People would earn commissions on sales. I think that would be an opportunity to also bring out here for the persons who feel they might be qualified or interested. So they would go to www.platdel.com. On the segments of careers, you can be able to find opportunities that we have. Of course, they can stay ahead. They can stay in touch with our social media. We do post most of our conversations there at Pladel KE on all social media. I think it would be important for some of the talents that we have here to be utilized in our economy and the region beyond. So thank you once again for the opportunity to be here.
Thank you so much, Washington. So I think at this point we will close it at this, but I want to sincerely appreciate our speakers. This has been quite an eye-opening session, and we can even tell from the different discussions and questions coming through from our young people. Thank you, Ross. Thank you, Hilda. Thank you, Lorraine. Thank you, Anne and Washington, for your time and even just accepting to share this. Trust me, I can assure everyone that we've not paid them. This is purely out of their goodwill and voluntary. So we are quite grateful and even honoring our partnership and always being ready to be there for us. To the businesses that have joined, we want to assure you we have quite talented workforce that we can link you up with. I know you can reach us on Ajira at kepsa.wa.ke or even through our different teams that you've been in touch with, and we'll be able to hook you up to these very talented young people. I know you have seen from Anne and so many that are already on the call that they are willing to provide very, very modern and very techy solutions to your businesses. And then to the young people that are really the backbone of why we are doing all this, we want to thank you for your time and appreciate you for this chance to join us. By the mere fact you took your time to join in and listen in from industry experts, that's good enough to take you to the next step and to push you to the next level. So asanteni, and we also want you to take advantage of the opportunities that have been shared through the chats, look them up, check what opportunities are there, but more to it, check the opportunities that we keep on posting now and then through the Ajira Digital portal. So I think I'll end it at this point and appreciate you, all of you, and welcome back our moderator. Thank you, our speakers and everyone else.
Thanks, Rosemary.
Thank you, Grace Mary, and also thank you for, the panelists for taking the time to share the information. I believe you guys in the audience, you've really benefited a lot from the audience, and if you have done that, maybe you can give us a reaction. You can help us celebrate them with a clap, for that beautiful presentation led by Grace Mary. The next 1 minute, maybe we can appreciate them so that you can maybe keep them motivated even to come to more of our events. Guys, you can help me celebrate them. Okay, great. I think at this moment we'll be ending the call, and the recording will be shared to you via your emails, the one you used to record. And you enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
Thank you and bye to everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you and goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.